Next up, a myth that's going to blow you away.
All right, so this myth comes from a viewer. A guy in Iowa wrote in and said that his uncle used to take a bow and arrow, strap a stick of dynamite to it, light it, fire it into a tree, and when it would explode, it would split the tree up the middle.
Okay, are you sure this is a viewer myth and not like a Tory family history?
No, I'm serious. He wrote it in.
All right, well, I'm willing to try it. Sounds like we need a stick of dynamite, an arrow, and a tree.
As any William Tell fan will tell you, the trick of splitting an apple with an arrow is a blast. But according to this myth, an arrow coupled with dynamite can split a much bigger apple. But is this fan-fabled bow baloney?
Okay, for this experiment, I think we need to just go for it. Get the biggest log we can find and just anchor it to the ground at the bomb range.
But remember, we're trying to split this tree down the middle with explosives. We don't want to just blow it into pieces.
Right.
Full-scale testing means finding the right tree.
We're here at the bomb range to find out if our dynamite arrows can split a tree. These are our trees. They are pine trees from a recycler. Now they're 20 feet long and almost 6,000 pounds. So the first step, dig a hole.
The pine trees tech specs match the viewer myth almost to the letter.
All right, how's about right here?
While Kari gets on with step one,
So much better than a shovel.
getting to grips with the pine's parameters is Grant.
And we've chosen the pine tree because it's one of the most common trees in America. In fact, there are over 35 varieties in North America alone. But there are two reasons that might make it easier to split down the middle. One, they have vascular bundles that run the entire length of the tree, and these are tiny tubes that carry water and nutrients to the top. And two, it's got a spiral grain, which goes parallel to the axis of the tree. Those things together might just help us get a split.
That's the theory. And with the target tree now standing tall,
Now that's what I call a real stick in the mud.
the guys turn their attention to the weapon, setting up a remote bow and arrow firing mechanism.
So we need to fire a lit stick of dynamite from a bow and arrow into a tree. Now, that is way too dangerous for us to do. So we brought out our remote arrow firing mechanism. This way we can shoot from a distance and we'll be safe. Plus, we're gonna be using a compound bow. That way we get the maximum amount of energy with the least amount of effort.
With the bow ready to go, that just leaves the payload.
We're not going to use dynamite because actually it's a fairly unstable substance. Instead, our experts Frank Doyle and J.D. Nelson have given us this. It's a binary explosive. It's a lot more stable, which means it'll go off when and where we want it to. And it has exactly the same amount of energy as a stick of dynamite.
After a quick test fire to make sure their remote bow and arrow is on the money, it's time to take aim at this myth.
It's time to load up our arrow firing machine, shoot it into the tree, and see if we can split it down the middle.
Do I think that's gonna happen? Sure, absolutely.
If we lived in a cartoon.
Wile E. Coyote Kari has her doubts, but there's only one way to find out.
All right, so the dynamite's lit. Let's see if we can cleave this tree.
Okay, this is dynamite arrow. Take it.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
The arrow gets triggered, the fuse burns through, and then...
And the tree still stands.
That was a
Tree
good
just laughing at us.
It sure was a hefty blast. But when the smoke clears, it's clear it wasn't hefty enough. The tree appears to be pretty well undamaged.
All right, well, the tree is still in one piece.
Yeah, I don't even see a crack.
Well, maybe we need more explosives. Maybe this was more than just like a stick of dynamite. Maybe it was extra powerful dynamite.
That is a great idea.
After a surprisingly feeble first test, the myth is already on thin ice. So it's time to up the ante.
We're gonna double the amount of explosive that we're attaching to the tip of the arrow. Same as before, we're gonna light the fuse, remote fire it into the tree, and see what happens.
Kari, Tory, and Grant are testing the myth that a dynamite arrow can split a tree down the middle. But so far, it's got the team well and truly stumped.
Well, the tree is still in one piece.
Yeah, I don't even see a crack.
Today's solution, double the dynamite.
So this is 2 times the explosives that we used on the first test. Let's see if this is enough to split the tree down the middle. All right, we're lit.
All right, Granty, call it.
Okay, so this is splitting a tree with dynamite, double the explosives. In 3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
Wow. Yeah.
That was a good blast.
Well, I'd say this is looking pretty bad for the myth.
Yeah, I mean, we used twice the amount of explosives as the myth calls for, and still, we did not get any cleaving whatsoever.
Even with 2 sticks of modern dynamite, the tree was left with hardly a scratch, let alone a cleave. And Grant thinks he knows why.
Now, my theory is that the dynamite is outside, and when you explode it, all that energy just gets dissipated away from the tree and not where we actually need it to be focused, which is right on the trunk in order to split it.
And without that focus, the myth, unlike the tree, is looking busted. So what's next?
Well, any more explosives strapped to that arrow, it's gonna mess with the aerodynamics. There's no way it's gonna fly. So why don't we just push an arrow into the tree, put as many explosives on it as JD will allow, and just see if we can get anything.
Now you're talking.
For round 3, the MythBusters are going gangbusters, strapping an arrow with as much dynamite as can be crammed on, but too much for it to actually fly. So how much is too much?
JD says the amount we can use out here is 6 sticks of dynamite. Is that gonna split the tree down the middle? I don't know, but we're gonna get a big bang. I like big bangs.
6 drops of essence of terror, 5 drops of sinister sauce.
With the mother of all explosive arrows prepped and embedded in the tree,
Mega arrow is in place.
the team is taking no chances. They'll hunker in the bunker because this is going to be big.
This is splitting the tree with dynamite, 6 sticks.
In 3, 2, 1.
That was a good explosion. Let's go see if we split the tree.
I don't think so, man.
But we rattled the bunker.
There's just no timber on the timber. Even with 6 sticks of dynamite, the shockwave barely scratches the surface, let alone causes a cleave. So it's back to the drawing board.
So right now, this myth is looking busted. We used 1 stick of dynamite, 2 sticks of dynamite, finally 6 sticks of dynamite. It was not enough to split a tree up the middle like the myth talks about. But this is MythBusters. We're gonna go deeper and not stop here, and we're gonna figure out, is there a way to use nothing but explosives to split that tree?
After 3 big booms, the myth of a dynamite axe is, well,
100% busted. You're not gonna split a tree using 1 stick of dynamite, let alone 6 sticks of dynamite.
Yeah, all the energy is going outward. It's completely external. I think to actually cleave the tree, you need something inside.
All right, well, what if we tried reconfiguring the explosives? Get it closer to the core. Maybe that will split the tree up the middle.
Yeah, let's go to a smaller scale so we can experiment with different kinds of explosives.
Great idea.
with the myth busted, the team is going to try to replicate the results. And they're starting by shrinking things down with sapling trees, hoping to get that mythical split.
So we're back at the bomb range with more trees. And this time what we're gonna do is experiment with different types of explosives and different techniques for getting those explosives into the trees. And hopefully, we'll get a split.
Much as they love blowing things up, this myth is about dividing the tree, not destroying it.
That's a fine-looking tree. It's a shame we have to blow it up.
So in small scale, the guys are going to start by putting 2 explosives head to head.
The first type is TNT, or trinitrotoluene. Now, this is a faster-moving, more tearing explosive. The other kind of explosive we're gonna be using is AMPHO. That is a slower-moving explosive, but it has more pushing power. We're gonna see if either of those is able to split our tree up the middle, just like the myth.
But switching the explosives and using tiny quantities aren't the only changes they're drilling down for this test.
So what we've done here is solve what I think is the biggest problem of our previous test, which is getting the explosive to where it needs to be, which is the strength of the tree, the core, the heartwood.
But will this internal placement cause the cleave the dynamite arrow couldn't? Well, to find out, they're starting by embedding explosive 1, the TNT.
Smoke. We're good.
All right, this is TNT in the little pine tree. Woohoo! Let's do it.
It's a tense wait for the fuse to burn down until it might have had the boom. But did it give the team the kind of break they need?
I see some cracking going on, but not what I would call a split.
Yeah, it seems like it's shredding more than anything.
Tory's on the money. Traveling at more than 21,000 feet per second, the shockwave from the TNT simply ripped the tree to pieces. Will their low-velocity explosive do any better?
This is ANFO, which stands for ammonium nitrate fuel oil. It's a lower velocity explosive than TNT, which means it has a higher likelihood of actually splitting the tree without shredding it.
Where the TNT ripped and tore, the ANFO should push and split.
Get in there.
And to try and avoid destroying the tree, they're using the smallest amount of explosive that will detonate.
All right, you ready to light the candle?
Ready.
Let's do it.
We've got smoke.
Okay, let's get out. Okay, it's lit.
Cool.
Note to self, when you see a smoking tree, run.
Especially around the MythBusters.
And a burning fuse means you can't know when it's going to blow. Even with just a cup full of ANFO, the tree toppled. But in the midst of all that carnage, the team can see signs of success from this test.
So what we're seeing with the ANFO is larger splinters, which is more like what we want. But just to remind you here, the idea is to assist the splitting with the explosives, not to annihilate the tree. So I think rather than directing all the energy at a single point at the base, what we need to do is distribute it up along the length of the tree so that when you go boom, it goes like that.
In other words, the team thinks Test 2's explosives were right, but the placement was wrong. So next, they're sticking with ANFO.
If you ever have a chance to cut down a tree with high explosives, I highly recommend it.
But cutting some zipper-like grooves in tree 3.
What I've just done is cut some vertical grooves in the bark of the tree. That way we can lay up our explosives along the grain, the vascular bundles of the tree. Because what's happening right now is we have an explosive at the base and it's cross-cutting. What we want is a vertical split. So this way we put the explosives up the line of the tree and that force punches through and hopefully we get that vertical split that we're looking for. All right, the grooves are loaded. We're going hot. All right, we're lit. You know, JD?
Yes?
I heard cool guys don't look at explosions. They turn around and then they walk away.
Okay, so this is cutting a tree in half with explosives, zipper technique.
It didn't go completely to plan, but at least the team gets slightly more than a toppled trunk. It's kind of a split in the right direction.
Wow,
Check it
that
out.
is definitely a better technique.
Finally, we got a split.
Of sorts. It's still not the clean cleave they wanted, but promising enough to warrant one more go at a mighty grand finale.
What did we do right? Well, on this test, we got our explosive in a line that's parallel to the grain of the tree. Instead of focusing on one spot, we went all the way up the tree, and I think that is what made the difference. Now, this is a small tree, but that's fine. We proved the concept here. Now it's time for us to go into a big tree and try it full scale.
That is awesome. But I mean, this myth is still busted, but I mean, with a little engineering, we got the results we were looking for, a split tree.
Well, I think this is enough for us to find a big tree and move on to full scale.
Oh, wow, this is gonna be crazy. Now, we've already busted the myth that you can use a dynamite arrow to split a tree in two, but we wanted to find out if you can use explosives to create that perfect cleave. So we did a few experiments. We tried TNT, we tried ANFO. As you can see, it didn't quite work from a singular point. So we went and took it one step further. We made sort of a zipper by perforating the tree with little slots and filling them with ANFO. And we did get a split. So now it's time to take it to full scale. We've come out to the forest to make a tree split MythBusters style.
Doing it MythBusters style means driving to an isolated tree farm
Man, this is way out there, isn't it?
and blowing the biggest tree they can see. with the technique they sort of perfected in small scale.
It's like a winter wonderland out here.
You can't see the trees for the forest.
Here's the tree.
Wow, that is one big tree.
Definitely. This is a 100-foot tall ponderosa pine. Now, you might be a little freaked out that we're using a perfectly good tree in our experiment, but it's already been earmarked for lumber. And it will be recycled at the end of the experiment. Depending on how successful we are, it'll either be lumber, or if we manage to split it, firewood.
Given their earlier results, splitting this tall tree seems like an even taller order. But Tory, for one, is confident.
Now, we learned from our small scale that AMPHO was the best type of explosive. It was slower moving, more pushing. And what we also learned is cutting grooves along the vertical of the tree will give us a better chance of splitting the tree. So we're gonna do just that. We're gonna cut a bunch of grooves up the length of the tree so that way the force of the explosion is vertical and hopefully we can replicate the results.
In other words, going big means thinking small, cutting lots of vertical slots near the core to house small bags of boom. But Tory and heights have never been the best of friends.
Oh, I love heights. Remember last time I was up this high and I fell?
Don't let go.
Let's hope nothing like that happens.
Add a chainsaw to the mix, and it seems like a recipe for disaster.
Ah! We're gonna die! Here we go.
Fortunately, he stays focused enough to cut the zipper-like grooves from top to bottom that may yield the perfect cleave.
All right, so we finished cutting 15 slots up the length of the tree. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill those slots with AMPHO, ignite them, and see if we can split this tree up the middle.
But first, they need to do a serious calculation of just how much bang they need for their buck.
Okay, now when you usually see explosives enter the MythBusters scene, you're used to seeing mass quantities, like the 850 pounds we used in the cement truck. Now for this experiment, we actually want a pushing rather than a huge destruction. So we're only gonna use about 25 pounds of AMPHO in small bags strung evenly up the side of the tree. That way, hopefully we get a nice clean cleave.
It's a delicate operation. Too much AMPHO and the tree will be blown apart. Too little and the explosive may not even detonate.
All right, so 1 pound bags.
1 pound bags.
Luckily, bomb expert Frank is on hand to take charge of the charge.
Okay.
What do you think, Frank? Am I gonna be able to join the bomb squad after this?
Hey, we're signing you up right now.
All right, ready to decorate the tree?
Ready to wire in. AMPHO?
There you go.
Working somewhat gingerly, Kari and Grant carefully place the 25 1-pound bags along the entire trunk.
Oh, you know what? The sap is a natural adhesive to holding the bags in. So add wiring explosives at heights to my resume.
All right, you done?
I'm done.
And as the saying goes,
Let's make like a tree and leave.
Going down on this level, we have explosives, timber, and ladies' lingerie. Okay, this is the very last bag of explosives going in the tree. We've wired them all the way up. I think we might actually have a shot at this one. I mean, we've given it all the advantage we possibly could. Using this nice low-velocity explosive, we've given it a perforation so that it could go really, really well. I think we might get a nice clean split.
but the guys, on the other hand, aren't so sure.
So do I think the tree's gonna split? There's a lot of factors that go into it. Too much explosive, too little, the weight of the branches. Given all that, I think we are gonna get a split. Maybe not super clean, but it's gonna split.
Looking at all this AMPHO in this tree, I have a feeling we're just gonna blow this tree in a bunch of pieces. Yeah, this looks safe enough here.
All right, I guess we're all set. You guys ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. Burn the hole! Burn the hole! Okay, so this is splitting a tree with AMPHO. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, fire!
Busting the myth of the explosive tree split has been a bit of a misfire. From big-scale failure
The tree is still in one piece.
to some small-scale success.
Wow, that is definitely a better technique.
But now, the moment of truth.
Here we go.
To replicate the results of this myth, it all comes down to this one-shot wonder. One monster pine tree filled with 25 bags of explosives. They're using the smallest amount of ANFO that will still detonate. But will it be small enough?
In 3, 2, 1.
Fire!
That was a good one! Well, the tree's down. Let's go see if it's split.
If there's anything left of it.
Well, what's clear is the ANFO detonated. But what is not clear is what happened to the tree.
Wow, there are bits of tree everywhere.
With the smoke gone, it's bad news for the myth. Instead of a split, the tree's been diced into a nice pile of kindling for Bear Grylls.
The result that we were looking for this experiment was 2 pieces. One left, one right, split right down the middle. What we got was 200 pieces. The tree shattered all over the forest. There's bits everywhere. It turns out the ANFO was just too much. Even at the minimum amount to detonate, to sustain that crack all the way to the top.
And that's the key. They really did use the smallest amount of low explosives that would detonate, and yet it was still too much for the tree.
Now, if you look at the trunk, it did actually split it. However, it did not split the entire length of the tree like in the myth. Even with giving it the best possible chances by cutting in little grooves and filling it with the ANFO, it still did not split down the middle. Getting it to do that with explosives is very, very difficult.
And that leaves only one conclusion.
All right, no matter how you look at this myth, this one is busted.
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 But at least we have all this firewood and kindling now.
This isn't a split. This is a shatter.
The tree and the myth are both shattered. And let's face it, if this method didn't work, then a dynamite arrow is not even a long shot.
All right, I got some seedlings.
Okay.
The myth might be busted,
Let's do our part.
but at least the team has given something back to the forest.
Sort of the strange MythBusters circle of life.
That is strange.
I think it's a good deal for the forest. I mean, 3 for 1.